Welcome back to a new video. Today's review is on Only Murders in the Building, Season 4, Episode 6, entitled Blow Up, with the official synopsis being: a documentary film is made by the brothers sisters. And before I give out my review, please like, subscribe, comment. All of my socials are down in the description, so give them a follow. Season 4 continues to be a mind-boggling, insane ride, to be honest. This is by far the most craziest season. What is going to be revealed next? Only time will tell. The episode was broken into 4 different acts by the brothers sisters. I thought this episode was going to take a backseat on the investigation and just focus only on the brothers, but I am glad that I was wrong. The cinematography for this episode was definitely amazing, with the different cameras, the different angles, as according to them, it was done to form the perspective of truth. But the episode immediately resumes where episode 5 ended off. Chaos, chaos, chaos all around. I didn't think no one got shot in the last episode, but I was wrong. Some people actually did get shot. Glenn, the stuntman, and Zach Galifianakis. Those two nearly became t-shirts, and it's just insane. It is just mind-boggling with all that is taking place. The trio decides to get the hell out of Dodge from this photo shoot and just go back at the Arconia. And another huge surprise there as well, with all of the different cameras being installed, not only at the Arconia, but also at the West Tower. Uma, the neighbor, is back in here. It's always good to see her. Her being pissed off at the trio because of the cameras, 100% justified. And I can just understand that she is just sick of them, and just sick of this movie, and just sick of everything related to this podcast. And with this episode being filmed non-stop with different filming equipment or different cameras, as according to the brothers' college professor, never stop filming. Chaos can equal success. Chaos can bring in a lot of different moments and reveals that no one else knows of. And chaos, 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 as Howard is filming alongside with them to help the brothers get their footage and just to get everything that is possibly needed. As Zach Galifianakis wants out of this film, and it's understandable, because who would want to be a part of a movie where you was just inches away from becoming a t-shirt? Him wanting out is justifiably so, and Bev and her emergency meeting had little to no importance. I think that Bev, she's not responsible for the murders, but I think this is a life and death situation for her Hollywood career. Like, if this movie were to not be made, or this movie were to be produced and made and it just turns out awfully, I can see this being the end of Bev's Hollywood career. Marshall, the writer, does have a small appearance in here, and I still find them to be a little bit suspicious, honestly, with the way that he is always falling, he is always tripping, and I think he is doing that on purpose to either take something or just to cover up whatever illegal things that he is doing. Is he responsible for the murder? I can't say. But this documentary made by the brothers sisters back in college is definitely weird, with how they did things and their messages about the warnings of sugar. A very important figure is also in this documentary, which made me think about a small theory that I could be wrong about. Vince Fish is in this documentary, as Act 2 was entitled The Rising Act. But Vince Fish is very suspicious Rudy was very suspicious in this episode because the eye patch switched between different eyes. Him talking about the pink eye goes from one eye to another is weird and off-putting. Like, that's not true. Rudy, the way that he was reacting once Charles said that Dudenoff was back in New York was very telling, because Detective Williams did say that Dudenoff has been cashing social security checks at different bodegas across New York, and for him to look worried and have like a fearful look just puts my suspicions on the Westies back once again, as Charles is just that determined to look at this case that they have. He thinks it's a gun case. I didn't put too much thought into it in the last episode because I just didn't see that much importance. The title for this episode is based off a 1966 movie entitled Blow Up. The synopsis is about a London photographer who one day captures photos of a couple at a park, but realizes that he may have accidentally captured a murder with one of his photos, as it somewhat ties in with this episode with how things are, honestly. Oliver decides to call Loretta and to tell him about his life and death experience, and also about what he was trying to do in episode 1. And this just also made me have another possible theory about season 5, since it's already been confirmed. I think that season 5's main theme is probably going to be a wedding theme. I think in the last episode for this season, I think Oliver and Loretta will get married, but I think at the wedding, the next victim is going to be killed. And I think with how each season has a different theme, with season 1 and 2 being focused on the Arconia and its history, season 3 Broadway in this production, season 4 Hollywood, season 5, I think its theme might be a wedding, as the trio tries to figure out who is responsible for such and such deaths at Oliver and Loretta's wedding. I could be wrong, but I'm just thinking that, honestly. Charles is given Sazz's final remains due to Detective Williams, and another interesting reveal is made in here. Sazz, known to have prosthetics due to the amount of injuries over the span of 40 years, but another shoulder prosthetic was found in the remains, but this time 2 left shoulders. Mabel tries to call Detective Williams to track the number to see, and the brothers, sisters, and a huge reveal is made. Professor M. Dudenoff was the college professor at their college. He was their college film professor. And shocking, I'll say that, it is definitely surprising, as the brothers, sisters explain what happened, how long they've known Dudenoff, and why Dudenoff is basically the reason that they are the way that they are in terms of how they make films and how they produce films. As according to them, they were there at the Arconia at the night that Sazz was killed, as they were trying to speak with Dudenoff. As according to them, Dudenoff was the only one that believed in them. He was the only one that saw success in their eyes because of how different they thought of things, how different they were. I found things a little interesting as well because they haven't seen Dudenoff for over 3 years, around the same time frame that the podcast was first introduced, around the time that Tim was murdered and the podcast and the trio starting to get their leeway in. So yeah, Dudenoff being revealed as their college professor and also the second body just blows up season 4 in my opinion with 2 murders, just 2 different murders. And yeah, with this episode, I don't think the brothers, sisters are responsible for Sazz's death. And they may have said that they would kill anyone for Dudenoff, but I don't think that they would kill Dudenoff, if you know what I mean. I think they would kill the person responsible for Dudenoff's demise, but for Dudenoff to say, hey, kill such and such, I don't think they would honestly do that, but who knows. But with the gun case turning out to be just a camera case and just the life rights from episode 1 coming back, I am now very curious as in what was in those life rights. For all of the illegal cameras at the Arconia and the West Tower, what else was there? But the episode just ends on another dark note, with the killer just revealing that they have been watching everything with this investigation, due to this killer or killers just sending Charles, Oliver, and Mabel just different footage of them with a huge bullet dot right there, seeming as if they could just shoot them at any moment in time. Like, this killer is the most calculated, is the most intelligent out of all of the killers that we've had so far, because this killer knows what they're doing. This killer knows how to track them and how to possibly kill them at any moment in time. Once this revelation is made, the trio, justifiably so, get the hell out of the Arconia, far away for possible safety. But yeah, man, this episode had a lot. I thought this episode was good overall. The cinematography was done very well with the different cameras, the different angles, just trying to form the different perspectives of truth. Now that there are 2 murders that need to be solved, I don't know what to say. I just don't know what to say, honestly. But I'm going to start with Dudenoff's murder. The fact that Rudy was very worried and had a fearful look that Dudenoff was back in New York, that just makes me very suspicious that him or Vince have been the one that have been cashing the social security checks at the different bodegas in New York. A part of me thinks that he did die of natural causes, and the Westies are just trying to cover it up to make it seem as if that Dudenoff is still alive, so that they can still pay rent at a very low rate and also just take some of his money, which is scummy if you really think about it. As far as Sazz's murder, I don't know who this killer could possibly be, because the fact that the killer was able to have cameras installed while they were possibly away too, it's just very telling and very calculating that they're able to see what they're doing at any given time and know what they're talking about with this investigation. It's just a lot to think about. As far as my suspect list goes, when it comes to both of these murders, I think that Marshall is very suspicious overall. The way that he always falls and trips, I think is his way of trying to take things or trying to cover up any sort of evidence of any crimes that he is possibly responsible for. A interesting family that has not been seen for a while is the Sazz family, and I'm now starting to think that they could possibly be responsible for Sazz's death, and maybe even Dudenoff's death if he actually was murdered, because more than one person was involved, and also 3 people, triplets, you never know. But yeah, those are my only suspects so far. Marshall, the Sazz family, Rudy, I think he and Vince are possibly responsible for cashing in those checks for Dudenoff at those bodegas. But with 4 more episodes to go, shit's gotten real. T-shirts, newspaper, what is going to be revealed next? Will there be more murders revealed? Only time will tell. But as always though, thank you for watching. See you next week.